Everyone, welcome to Shaping Success with myself and Robert Watson. We are back again on this Wednesday edition. What is going on, Robert?
It is a beautiful Wednesday, at least the last time I checked. Full moon Wednesday, mind you. So never know what you get.
Yeah, we get about I don't know, 10, 11 degrees or something like that. So that's what we got here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're
What is
supposed
the temperature there right now?
7. I didn't even know for sure.
7.
That's what it says, 7. We
Let's
got a
see.
whole
We're at a
7 degrees.
balmy 65 on our way to 72.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're supposed
like
to
I
get some more
said,
snow here in a couple days, so it's we'll see what happens. We got some. It's kind of pretty much melted away, but or clear off the roads anyway. So fun
yeah,
stuff.
we never know what we're going to get when we walk out. We could be, frozen or, a heat wave. Never
Yeah,
know.
keeps you jumping, keeps you going.
So can we talk football? Come on. I mean,
Well, we
geez,
can, but you're going to
we
be
had a Super
highly
Bowl.
disappointed in me because I didn't even turn on the Super Bowl. So
Well, that's okay. You didn't seem to miss much.
I saw the highlights. I've heard the stories, the controversies.
Yeah. And the other reason I want to talk football is because the article that I sent you from the Wall Street Journal
Right.
on former NFL players in the business community,
Hmm.
and the idea that we constantly talk about sports as an analogy to being in business because, like sports, and business is a team sport.
Right.
And I know people don't think about that because they think that they're compensated on an individual basis, that blah, 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 blah. They're always competing against themselves. Or, yes, I understand that, but really it's a team sport. You're still working all together for a goal.
Right.
And the question is what do former athletes bring to a boardroom or to a corporate setting that is
Hmm.
unique? And the article points out several things. One of them, of course, is what's referred to as stress inoculation, meaning we're not really uncomfortable when we're criticized because we were criticized on the field. I mean, we were yelled at
Yeah.
on a regular basis. And, so consequently, when you talk nice to us, we're like, hmm,
What's wrong with you?
okay. Uh, but, yeah. And so they were talking about the fact that, that they come in with stress inoculation. They come in with a sense of loyalty to their team. They
Right.
come in with a work ethic, right? That is, bar none. I mean, that's not every athlete. Some of them, waste their gifts, but most of them have realized the only way to be a pro and to be successful is to treat their athletic ability as a skill and to treat their job as a job and to get better at it.
Yeah, it's funny you're talking about like how you have to get used to criticism as an athlete because basically, essentially, the real whole deal is the only time that the coach really talks to you is when you do something wrong. And then you get to that point where you don't expect them to tell you good job. They're excited in the middle of a game, like playing a baseball game, you hit a home run or you throw a good pass or you make a good block. Like that's all they're impressed with. That's all they're happy about. It's like great job when you do something really outstanding. But other than that, it's like, well, you didn't step this way or you were behind that one or, you need to push a little bit harder with your elbow or you need to jump, like it's crazy because as I think about it, it's like constant correction and being okay with that correction and not letting it get you so that you can keep going.
Yeah, I was laughing because as you're saying that, I'm reminded of the fact the number of times that as the quarterback on a team, I'm the leader of the offense, right? So I'm expected to carry out whatever orders were given to me.
Right.
Same thing on the basketball court. I was the leader on the basketball, the team captain. So I kind of set the tone. And I had to laugh because I remember, hearing from the sideline, right? When I decided to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Because back in my day, we actually called the plays.
Hmm.
Okay. We did, yes, they were shuffled in and out, but we had options.
Yeah.
And so the laughable part is that, I would change the play because I didn't like it when he called. And you'd hear the coach on the sideline as the formation set up. What in the hell is this? It's like, or you'd hear it on the basketball court because they were so close to you, right?
Yep.
And I pull up and shoot a long range shot, and it's like, what in the hell? Good shot.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like,
And if you didn't make the shot, then you would hear about it.
yeah, you didn't want to do that because you would hear that one all the way back down the court the other way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh, I
crazy that,
remember.
and that's I think that a lot of people these days have a hard time dealing with criticism. And to me, like it's funny. I was thinking I was going through my workday yesterday, and I got 4 calls from the same guy. And every time he calls me, it's not because I did something good. Typically, it's like,
Right.
hey, this went wrong. Hey, this was too narrow. Hey, this was too wide. Hey, we had to do this. Hey, we had to do that. And like usually when I get a call from an installer, it's gonna cost me money. And I'm like, I want to know though, what did I do wrong, and how can I fix it? And I think that that's
Right.
the big thing. It's like that criticism is a key part to growth because if you're not able to take it, if you're not able to say, hey, this is what happened, and fix it, then you're never going to grow. We have some other
Yeah.
salespeople that work with us that are just like, well, that's your problem. You fix it. It's like, I'm like, no, that's not your problem. It's understand how it works, understand how to do it, understand that you can change it, and we need you to do that so we have less mistakes. That's all there is to it. Because anytime anyone makes a mistake, it costs the company money, and it's insane to think that it's just okay to just spend money instead of trying to fix who you are to be better so that it doesn't cost that.
Right. So no one likes to be criticized. I mean, I remember
Right.
the numerous times, unfortunately, where I had a bad half, of football or a bad half of basketball. And, halftime is long when you've had a bad half. It's
Oh yeah.
very long because, you just kind of come in and the coach starts chewing in the tunnel, right?
Yep.
We haven't made it to the locker room yet. He's already chewing on us.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm called everything short of, a woman's female anatomy, the whole 9 yards. I mean, how it was. It
Right.
just, but the fact was, I played better the next half.
Oh yeah.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And a lot of times that jarringness of the way they approached you really did change your gears. Okay. I'm not
Hmm.
trying to say that it's 100% the best way to do things, but I know that it got results, whether
Yeah.
you like it or whether you don't. I mean, I went to the army, I went to basic training. I know what that's like. They're not there to sugarcoat things. They're there. Again, it's always the same thing. There's an idea of stress inoculation that you need to be able to up your game,
Right.
right? And
And
the
that's
fact is, a lot of times I was just playing bad.
right.
Call it for what it is.
Well, it's funny because there was always that time you like you just said, like when you went in there, they're coming in there and it's either they're having a little chalk talk with you or they are freaking lighting a fire under your ass because they want
Yeah.
you to be better. And I can vividly remember sitting in the locker room one time we came in, we had a crappy half, and my coach comes in there and the garbage can goes across the room.
Yeah.
And everyone is just like, "Oh shit, he's serious. It's time to figure this out." And then we go back out and we have the best half of the season. Those are the types of
No
things that
question.
the coach has to know how to do that anyway. And I think it's a little different now. I don't think you could do some of the stuff that they did back then because if you did, you would get in trouble. Like, I mean, it's that
Yeah.
trophy mentality, or not that you'd get in trouble. I think more people would shut down, and not be able to be competitive in that situation. And I think that you have less and less people that way. I mean, they're still competitors, but
Yeah.
you cannot treat them the same way that you treated them, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, and the idea is it did get better out of us, and that did work for us, and
Yeah,
we
I wouldn't
didn't
trade it.
shut down. We were, I remember one you were talking about trash can. Coming in at halftime, I'd scored 2 points in the first half of a basketball game, and the chairs went flying, right?
Yep.
Because we were going into a weight room, which was our halftime locker room, and chairs were flying, and blah 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 blah. Well, I mean, I went off for 26 points in the second half.
Yeah.
We because again, what happened was he just was looking at me like, "Take the shot. What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And it was like, and so what I did was I walked back out there and I took the shot. right? And took the shot and took the shot. And again, it's all a function of he was just trying to get the best out of me.
Yeah.
Okay. And there were occasions where I had great coaches who would look at me when I came to the sideline and say, "Hey, good call." You know,
Yeah.
granted, that was really few and far between. But the reality was is that the coaches were good about celebrating with you too. When
Yeah, but
you
they had
did
the
something really
expectation,
cool.
right? Like the expectation is
Yeah.
is that we're gonna win. When we go out on that court, if your
Right.
expectation is not that we're gonna win, then what are you playing for? I was
Right.
talking last night with the kids that I'm coaching. We had four kids not be at practice, and it's rec league basketball, and I understand that it's not that big of a deal. And most of the kids on my team practice basketball every single day. Like they have a after school program where they practice basketball with the coach, and so that's basically like they're practicing 5 days a week. Plus, they have two practices with me, and so they're very athletic. They're very good. Like we haven't lost a game yet. Last Saturday, my daughter was sick last Saturday and wasn't able to make it, but I still had to go coach the game. And I'll tell you what, that was the closest game that we've had all season. We ended up winning in the last 30 seconds, 26-25. And I was so excited that we beat. Like I'm jumping on the sidelines when they made that shot. But those kids, they were practicing. We're practicing some shot moves. Like they need to work on shooting. Like they obviously, some of them aren't strong enough to put the ball up. Some of them don't know how to make a move under the hoop or make a move period from when they get covered in defenders, and they're missing the shot almost every single time. But I said it's not to me right now. I want you in the vicinity with the shot, but I want you to practice the footwork. I want you to be able to so I had a defender stand right behind them. I had them hook their leg around, do a hard dribble, and then shoot, and I wanted them to be able to do that to clear the defender out of the way. And they were missing shots left and right, and they were kind of going off about that. And I was just like, it's important that you make the shot because we need to win, but it's important that you do it correctly so that you can, what you practice, you do. And
Right. And that's back to that fundamentals that we talk about all the time. It's fundamentals in business. It's fundamentals in life. It's fundamentals. I was saying to somebody the other day, you told me one thing in August. You told me something else in October. You've now told me something else in February. Here's the thing. Your inconsistency with what you're saying means your words mean nothing.
right,
Now I have a problem, right? My problem is what words do I supposed to believe when you say something to me? I'm
right,
not being critical as in to be hypercritical. I'm just simply saying which words am I supposed to pick out to use
right,
because you keep changing what they mean.
right.
And so that's about consistency. It's about execution. It's about, you know, I hate to use the word try, but sometimes when somebody gives you an assignment, you go, okay, let me work on it.
Right.
And they're like, well, can't you get it done? I said, I don't know. I've never seen it before.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right. I'll do the best I can. But the reality is that that's what you're searching for. You're searching for consistency. Would you rather me say to you, I'll get it done and not get it done? Don't you want my words to mean something? Right.
Yeah, it's that who moved my cheese again. It's like
Yeah.
let's keep changing the parameters on you because this wasn't working, but we're gonna change it again. We're gonna make it different. Like my whole work career has been that way. All right, this way, do it this way, then all of a sudden do it that way, and then do it this way, and then do it that way, and then sometimes they go back to the old way, and sometimes they go back to the new way. But being able and I think that that's probably one of those things that these NFL players do as well is they have to make a correction no matter what. If you're an offensive lineman, the defensive lineman is not going to make the same move every single time because it didn't work the first time. They're going to try another way. They're going to try and find that tendency that gets them the ability to get to the quarterback. I mean, you got to make
Well,
that change.
as a quarterback, here's the fact of reality. I got three receivers, right? Tight end, two wide receivers, usually a running back out in a pattern. Usually I have four different people to throw the ball to. There's a primary and secondary receiver on every pattern. However, there's people that I know I can throw the ball to and that will catch it,
Right.
and those I won't. And if you don't think I can make that judgment in 3 seconds, oh, you were so wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, because if I look at it and I've got something tight, right, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a tight throw, and I look at who it is and I go, oh no, can't make that throw.
Yeah.
Why? The receiver. I can make the throw. It's just I can't trust the receiver, especially if it's over the middle. If
Right.
I can't trust that receiver to put his hands on it, I'm not throwing it. Why? Well, because I don't want it to go up in the air. That's a turnover,
Yeah.
right? So you are making those assessments. So a lot of what you get out of people in business is the same too. Can I give this person this assignment?
Hmm.
Will they get it done? You know, one of the things you learn if you're going to play at the pro level is when I throw you the football and I put it in your hands, if you get two hands on it, there's not supposed to be a question.
Yeah.
One hand, well, come on, man, that's a fantastic catch. But two hands, you're supposed to catch the ball.
Especially with the gloves that they have.
Right. This is what you're
Oh,
paid to
that's
do.
dick 'em on
Right.
them. Yeah.
Right. But I
No,
mean,
I'm
this
beyond that.
this is the challenge of listen. I don't care how good that rusher is on my blind side.
Right.
I expect the left tackle to at least give me 3.4 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't give me 3.4 seconds, you're not much of a left tackle.
Yep.
And if my
Time.
left tackle comes in and says, I've been getting my ass kicked all game, but I can promise you, if I need to buy time, if it's 3rd and 9, I need to buy a little time. So, I mean, I'll look at the left tackle and he go, no, I got you. No, he knows what I'm saying. That play is going to extend out. I need to let the receiver clear, which means that are you going to let him rip my head off?
Right.
Um, I mean, these are things that are we call it trust falls, right? Can you
Hmm.
trust the people around you? My gosh, it's a huge deal in business.
Yeah.
Can I trust you? Can I give you this assignment? Can I have you call this person? Will you do it to the best? That's a big deal. That's the thing that you've got with people that have been put under pressure situations before, and when they say "I got you," they've got you.
Right. Yeah, it's a that I mean, and it, again, it's like you said. There are people. The thing about football, and especially probably in NFL and college, it's like I don't think I ever worried about someone else taking my spot when I was in high school because I was just good enough that I didn't have to worry about that. Like I always tried to be better, but I was never worried about that. But I could just imagine being paid to play that game,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that you don't get paid if you don't do your job, and there is some guy behind you, beside you, next to you, somewhere else that is wanting that job from you. They're your backup. They don't, they want to win the game, but they don't care if you fail, because if you fail, that means they get a chance, and if they get a chance, your chance may be limited.
Well, yeah. One of the things that happened in the NFL, and it happened to me, is that didn't get the opportunity to have my shot because they drafted somebody high
Hmm.
in my position and paid a lot of money for him. So it didn't matter what they thought of me.
Yeah.
They had made a dollar commitment to somebody else, and that somebody else, eventually goes on to the NFL Hall of Fame. So I mean, it's not like they made a bad decision.
Yeah, but
But
I mean,
we'll
you
don't.
look at like
Yeah,
Tom Brady. They may have saw
yeah,
something in Tom Brady, but Drew Bledsoe was getting paid, and Tom Brady was a backup, and they weren't paying him shit.
yep,
And he comes in there and he
that's it.
proves it. Just like it's the same thing with Brock Purdy. Same thing. He's like, I love watching him play just because he's a very humble, quiet guy, and he's doing a good job, and people
Right.
just shit on him left and right. All these reasons of why he's not that good and whatever, and he just goes out there and he does his job. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, and again, that's we were. I was looking at the multiple quarterbacks playing the game and watch what they were doing in the playoffs and the championship games and the Super Bowl. And my son and I, who was played quarterback also, we were talking about how bad of a job Mahomes and a few others were at executing the play.
Hmm.
And what we mean by that is this: when we step back, there's a play called. There's a primary, secondary. You're supposed to look at what the defense is giving you, right?
Right.
And so there's immediately when you look, the defense cannot do everything. So when you immediately look at the field, you have an advantage in a certain place, right?
Right.
Either the play matches that advantage or you hear kill, kill, change
Hmm.
the play. The reality is that the primary receiver, looking at where you had the advantage, there's a reason why guys are scrambling, and it's not a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, because what is happening is you're missing the reads, and it's causing you. And they're like, "Whoa, look at him buy time with his legs." I want you to remember how much time that Tom Brady did not buy with his legs.
Oh yeah.
I want to say how much time Joe Montana, Peyton Manning did not buy with their legs. There's a reason. Yes, you move around in the pocket. Yes, you buy a little time, but we're not talking about running around. Why? Because they knew what to do with their primary and secondary receivers. They were a student of the game.
Well, and it's a different game too. Like, I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched. Like I said, I don't watch it very much. But I feel like every time when I was younger, you heard this West Coast offense, West Coast offense, West Coast offense, which
Right.
was like short pop passes, like move down the field. You have less than, you were saying 3.4 seconds, less than that because you move the ball quickly. They're short passes for short yardage. It's almost like a running play, really. Your receiver gets the ball and runs. It's all
Right.
that yak. It's all those yards after catch. That was big, and that's what made Jerry Rice so good was that, the reason I bring up the 49ers is Bill Walsh, he's the guy who created this West Coast offense. And they in the score takes care of itself. He talks about how Jerry Rice practiced that, how 3 steps was exactly 3 yards in every single time they practiced that, they executed that. And so Joe Montana knew where Jerry Rice was going to be. He knew where John Taylor was going to be. He knew where these receivers were going to be because they practiced it. It was exactly where it was supposed to be. So he knew if he turned to the left, Jerry Rice was supposed to be there. If he wasn't open, that the other guy's going to be open and he's going to hit that guy. And it's quick. So I feel like these guys now, they get a little more time in the pocket. They want to make these long passes. The running game's not what it used to be. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing to think about how it was in the 80s, 90s versus what it is now.
Yeah, and all we're saying, my son and I were both saying, is we were looking at the way the play was set up, and it was so fun because my son goes, "I ran that play in junior high,"
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about one of the plays that Mahomes threw it to the wrong person.
Uh-huh.
He threw it to the outside. It was a 4th down play. He threw it to Hopkins on the outside. The ball was deflected by the defender, and Jordan went, "Your primary read is your tight end, and he's wide open." And
Yep.
this is my son reading a junior high play. He
Yeah.
said exactly what the play was. And it was like, this is what the play is. This is who you go to. The minute you see the defense, this is who you go to. And
Right.
he said, this is what we're trying to say. It's not that complicated. But again, it's back to consistency. Can you deliver consistently time after time after time? Or are you not as, in other words, are you being, you can make up for a lot of evils, I used to say, by being consistent,
Yeah.
right? That you can get over on a lot of things. But when you're not consistent, what happens is you end up, right, chasing.
Yep.
What happens when you're consistent every day at the office, right?
Yeah.
It sure doesn't get you perfection because nobody gets that. But what happens? Good
That you-
things happen.
Yep, exactly.
Good
And I
things
deal with that every single day. I've heard over and over again that I'm an anomaly in the job that I do because I get my stuff done and I'm done with it. At the end of the day, I'm pretty much done with everything. I go to a house, I quote it, I measure it, I give it to them right in front of their face, and then I send them the email if they don't buy, or they buy, and then I go out and I order it right after because I don't want to have to do it at the end of the day. And I
Right.
over and over again have practiced this process that makes it so that I don't have to, take away from my family. And I set parameters. I don't answer calls after 5 o'clock. I don't answer emails after 5 o'clock. I'll answer them first thing in the morning when I'm up and I'm ready to go. But I don't do that.
Right.
And you set those precedences and you do those things and you practice to be as perfect as possible. Yet you still make mistakes because no one is ever going to be perfect. So
Right. I walked into class and the other day, and the young lady and I are always, it's either her or me or first in the class
mhm.
because I have this thing about being early.
Yep.
I'm facing Houston traffic. I never know what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I swear to God, I can take my route and it's 31 minutes to the university.
Yep.
I can also take the same route and it's an hour and 15 minutes.
Hmm.
It's just because I don't control that. So how I control it is I give myself time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
how I control it.
that's something that I've done for a very long time because, like I lived near where I live now and I was driving 30 minutes to work and I was never late because I gave myself an extra half an hour, 45 minutes because I knew that there was a possibility that there'd be a car
Oh, yeah.
accident. There's a car accident. Guess what? You're stuck for a while. So, I mean,
And
it's people don't do that now though. Like they just, whatever,
yeah.
but oh, I'm going to be late.
No, no. See that I went the other day and it cracked me up because I actually started laughing. Every choke point, there's about 5 major choke points from my house to the university.
Uh-huh.
Every choke point had a problem.
Yep.
Every one of them. And I just kind of chuckled because I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter what you do to me. I've allowed for it.
Yep.
So it's like, come on. But that makes you smile because that's the reason you do it.
Yeah. I have one more thing I want to talk about because I think that this is
Shoot.
funny. I've been hearing this about the Super Bowl. I wasn't there. I kind of heard it yesterday. I was listening to Adam Carolla talk about it, and I thought it was interesting because I see people pop up these posts. But in the beginning of the Super Bowl, I believe there was a point where Donald Trump was up and he was getting cheered left and right, and it was a big thing. And then they pan to Taylor Swift and she gets booed. And everyone feels so sorry for Taylor Swift that she was getting booed. They don't understand why. They don't understand why Trump was getting cheered, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to see what your thoughts are on that because I feel like as someone who is in the spotlight, she or he, because they both have got booed, they both have got cheered, should be able to deal with that because it is something that you're in the spotlight. You have thrown these things out there. You have said the things that you have said. You have done the things that you have done, and you're going to be judged by that. You wouldn't stand in front of millions and millions of people and sing or be president or do whatever to not realize that you're going to get ridicule. And it was funny because everyone's trying to come to Taylor Swift's side and say, well, that's not right. That's not how you treat someone. And I saw someone post, as a dad of daughters, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know what? These people, these celebrities, not even Taylor Swift, like any of them that speak out have spoken out to this audience, and they should expect that they are going to get criticism or they're going to get people who are happy. I just want to understand what your thoughts are on that.
Well, as you know, because we've talked politics before, I try not to. I try to stay pretty much down the middle. But anytime you get political in a world where it's 50-50, where it's a
Mm-hmm.
coin flip, right?
Yep.
Why do you think when you get political, you're not going to draw the ire of the half that don't agree with you?
Right.
Of course you're going to. Now, my music, Taylor Swift, you can like it or not like it, but here's the thing about my music. You're probably not going to boo my music.
Right.
Okay? You're going to boo my politics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Do I think it's right or wrong? Here's the point. It's not about right or wrong. It's what do you expect?
Yeah.
It's not, again, I wouldn't boo her.
Right.
But that's not, but here's the point. If I was in the political arena and I was making a comment, would I expect to get booed in the wrong audience? Sure. Right?
Yeah, and I think that the thing that I think is interesting about that is because I think about like this, like with what we're doing, the things that we say. There's been times where I posted a clip and I just like, I love the Giants, and I was complaining about the fact that they didn't sign anyone, and the Dodgers get to sign every single one, and they have no cap, and they keep spending money and this and that and blah blah blah. And how I didn't think it was really fair, and people go off on it, like the Dodgers fans are going off on it. Well, my expectation is that's what was going to happen. Like I understand that, so I don't know if she was taken off guard from that happening because she should be having that expectation that when you look at like what's going on with what she talks about, because in the end, it's everyone's mad about her politics. They put her right next to Donald Trump and they're going to throw a fit about it. Well, she said what she said. She has to have that expectation that if 60% of the country voted for this guy, the only people who are going to stand up for her are the 40%, and that's kind of where I think it's like you have to have that expectation that what you do is on you.
So the former broadcaster, now podcaster, Megyn Kelly, happened to be between them.
Yeah.
Okay, so she actually took shots and said, "Look here. Look, one side is Taylor Swift, the other side is Donald Trump." She was there during the booing and the cheering and the whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, she's like, "Wow, okay." But her point was the same. When you get political, expect to take some heat.
Yep.
Also too, for us, if we have an opinion on something, like we believe that sports in the team aspect of sports is good for kids, it's good for competition's good, the stress inoculation's good. Nobody has to agree with us.
Yeah.
We can take heat for that too. I don't mind taking heat for that.
Same here. But that's the thing is, like,
It's
we
an opinion.
understand that what we say is we're responsible for that. So that's what I was
Absolutely.
kind of like, she's got to have some understanding that no matter what, like, she's been ridiculed before. I mean, she's never been probably sitting in a stadium like that and got booed like that. But it's like, what is your expectation? You say something that's controversial or you do something that's controversial. This is what's going to happen,
Yeah. And I mean, for the record, I would not boo her
Yeah.
because I just don't boo people.
Right.
Okay. That's just not something I do, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, the thing is there are just so many people who just have a distaste. I wouldn't have booed her either. I mean, quite frankly, I like her music. I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't
Yeah,
have
I
to.
do too. Yeah.
My daughter calls me a Swiftie, and I'm like, no, I'm not a Swiftie. I don't listen to the stuff that I don't like the stuff that she does now. I like the stuff that she did when she first started out. But I mean, she had good music when she was younger, and
Yes.
I liked it. So I'm not gonna lie about that.
Right. No, and that's the thing is we're just trying to understand that we're not. Do I think the booing's justified or not justified? Listen, that's for people. This is free speech.
Yep, it's
Boo
your
is a free speech.
Yep.
Cheer is free speech. Got to get used to that. What we're trying to do once again with our commentary is what we're trying to do is suppress people's free speech.
Yep.
You may not like it. Okay. Just like I may not like somebody burning the flag.
right.
But if you say that that's free speech and that's allowed, then I'm going to protect their right to have that, like I would protect the right for somebody to boo.
Yep.
Don't necessarily agree with it, but still going to protect the right to boo.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks for hanging out with us again today, Robert. We appreciate it. It is I feel like I don't need to say that. I don't know why I say thanks for hanging out with us. This is us. This is our deal. So it's
Yes.
kind of funny. I don't need to say that, but it's
That's okay.
it's one of those deals where you're so used to doing an interview, and it's fun to have a good conversation about things. And I appreciate you being here. And we're going to see what happens next week. I have a procedure on Monday, so I don't necessarily know that. I know that we're not going to do it on Monday. We'll see how I feel on Tuesday, whether we're going to do Wednesday, but we should be back for sure the following week.
Following week.
Yep.
Yeah,
So I'll let you know. We'll play it by ear. There's a possibility, though, that I might not feel good enough to come hang out. So,
Well, you take care of you.
yep, definitely. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. If you can hit the subscribe button, follow, like, share, go over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. Let us know what you want to hear, what you want to see. You can catch us, DM us on anywhere on social media. We got a Patreon, all that stuff. So until next time, I challenge you to find the shade.